You're standing in the produce section, looking at two nearly identical yellow fruits. One is labeled banana, the other says plantain. They look almost the same. They're both curved, yellow, and sitting in the tropical fruit section. So you grab the plantain, thinking it's just a different variety of banana. You get home, peel it, take a bite, and immediately realize something is very, very wrong. Here's the thing. Most people think bananas and plantains are just cousins in the fruit family. Different names, same basic idea. But that assumption has led to some truly disappointing kitchen moments. Because these two fruits, despite looking nearly identical, were never meant to be used the same way. And the difference goes far deeper than you'd expect. It's a story about evolution, culture, and a botanical truth that changes everything about how we should think about them. Let's start with what seems obvious, but actually isn't. Both bananas and plantains belong to the same genus, Musa. Botanically speaking, they're both berries, not fruits that grow on trees, but massive herbs. The trunk, you see, isn't wood at all. It's tightly wrapped leaves forming a pseudostem. So right away, the plants themselves are more unusual than most people realize. But here's where evolution took them in completely different directions. Thousands of years ago, in the tropical regions of Southeast Asia, early cultivators began selecting certain Musa plants for specific traits. Some were bred to be sweet, soft, and easy to eat raw. These became what we now call bananas, specifically the Cavendish variety that dominates grocery stores today. They were designed for one purpose: to be peeled and eaten as a snack, dessert, or quick source of sugar. But other cultivators had a different need. They wanted something starchy, something that could serve as a staple food, more like a potato or yam than a sweet fruit. So they selected for plants that produced denser, firmer fruit with much less sugar and far more complex carbohydrates. These became plantains. And this is the part most people don't know. Plantains were never meant to be eaten raw. Their entire purpose from the beginning was to be cooked. Now here's where it gets interesting. If you've ever tried to peel a green plantain, you know it's nothing like peeling a banana. The skin is thick, almost rubbery, and doesn't pull away in neat strips. You practically need a knife. That's because the plantain is still in its starchy, vegetable-like state. Green plantains are incredibly firm, dense, and taste almost bland when raw, nothing like the sweet, creamy texture of a banana. But as plantains ripen, something fascinating happens. The starches begin converting to sugars, just like in bananas, but much more slowly and to a lesser degree. A yellow plantain is softer and slightly sweeter than a green one, but still nowhere near as sweet as a banana. And when a plantain completely blacks, which would make most people think it's gone bad, it's actually at its peak for certain dishes. At this stage, it's caramelized, rich, and perfect for frying into sweet, savory sweet side dishes. This is where things changed. Across Africa, the Caribbean, and Latin America, plantains became a cornerstone of daily life. In West Africa, they're pounded into fufu, a starchy staple that accompanies soups and stews. In the Caribbean, they're sliced thin and fried into crispy chips called tostones or tajadas. In parts of Central America, ripe plantains are fried until golden and served alongside rice and beans as a comforting, almost dessert-like side dish. Plantains aren't just food, they're woven into celebrations, ancestral recipes, and cultural identity. Bananas, on the other hand, followed a completely different path. They became a global commodity, shipped green and ripened artificially in climate-controlled warehouses. They're eaten raw, tossed into smoothies, baked into bread, or sliced over cereal. They're convenience food, sweet, portable, and ready to eat. But here's the twist. In many tropical regions where both fruits are grown, the word banana is often used to describe both. That's where the confusion comes from. To someone from Uganda or Puerto Rico, calling a plantain a cooking banana makes perfect sense. But to someone in a North American supermarket, it creates a fundamental misunderstanding. So what happens when you treat a plantain like a banana? Disappointment, because a raw plantain tastes chalky, starchy, and slightly astringent, not sweet, not creamy, not pleasant. It's like biting into a raw potato and wondering why it doesn't taste like a baked one. The plantain was never designed for that. It needs heat, oil, and time to transform into something delicious. And here's the part most people miss. The difference isn't just about taste, it's about energy. Bananas are high in simple sugars, which break down quickly in your body and give you a quick burst of energy. Great for a pre-workout snack or a quick pick-me-up. Plantains, with their complex carbohydrates, release energy slowly and keep you fuller for longer. That's why they function as a staple food in so many cultures. They're not a snack, they're a meal. But this is the part most people don't know. The reason we have both fruits today is that they were domesticated for entirely different roles in human life. Bananas were optimized for sweetness and convenience. Plantains were optimized for sustenance and versatility. One is a dessert, the other is dinner. And confusing the two isn't just a culinary mistake, it's missing the entire point of why they exist. So, the next time you're standing in that produce section, looking at those two similar-looking fruits, you'll know the truth. They're not interchangeable. They're not just ripe and unripe versions of the same thing. They're the result of thousands of years of human selection, shaped by different needs, different climates, and different cuisines. One was meant to be sweet and simple. The other was meant to be cooked, transformed, and savored in ways that connect us to cultures and histories we might never have considered. And now, when you see a plantain, you won't just see a banana that looks a little off. You'll see a staple food with deep roots, a fruit that has sustained entire communities, and a reminder that sometimes the most familiar-looking things hold the most unexpected stories. If you enjoy uncovering the hidden histories behind everyday things, the stories we walk past without realizing, there's plenty more where this came from.